Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks Podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Just take one step at a time. That's what the leaflets say. Yes, people, we are back with another episode of Dribbz Talks, the podcast where we seek out some of society's most inspiring humans and bring them into the hot seat to talk about their journey through life in order to inspire and help other listeners relate. Now, with this episode, I bring you a man that I've had the pleasure of knowing for quite a few years now. He's lived with a disability his whole life and more recently has suffered with depression and anxiety. And with all this going on, he still appreciates just how important it is to get his story out there in order to help others, and that right there is why I admire my guest today. So sat opposite me, his name is Gaz Underhill. Welcome to the show, my mate.
Thank you very much for having me, and you're making me blush.
Making you blush, eh?
Yeah, you are.
So do you prefer to be called Gareth or Gaz?
Gaz, please, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with that. I'm really glad you said that. I'm really glad you said that. So let's just go straight in with the first question because I'm keen to kind of get started on this podcast. And after all that messing about with technical support, like I said, you know, technology is amazing when it works, but when it doesn't work, it's an absolute bloody nightmare.
Absolutely.
So for the listeners that don't know, could you give them a brief introduction about yourself, your age, where you're originally from, Gaz?
Yeah, so as we said earlier, my name is Gaz and I am 41 years old with a mentally I'm 13. There you go, 13. And I work at a pensions and life company called Reassure. I've been working there for a few years now. I was born in Telford, and then I moved to Germany for a few years because my dad was in the army.
I didn't know that about you, mate.
Yeah, so we lived in Germany for I can't remember how long, but it must have been about 7 years. And I came back here at the age of around 11 or 12, and I've been staying in Telford since. So yeah.
How do you find Telford in comparison to Germany, mate?
Do you know what? Germany is a very, very clean country. Absolutely clean. If you ever drop some litter on the floor, you are told to pick it up. That's how clean the place is.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. And needless to say, by the way, the Germans are very, very nice people once you get to know them. You know, I am half German myself, and once you get to know me, I'm an absolute great person to talk to. So yeah, there you go.
Well, that makes you the ideal candidate for the Dribbz Talks podcast, mate. And that is one of the reasons why I had you down.
Thank you.
So I want to go in with the first question now, mates. Now, I'm aware that I invited you onto the show to talk about, you know, your disability, your mental health, but with every guest that I've had the pleasure of talking to, I truly believe that that your disability doesn't define you, mate.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It doesn't define you as a person. There is far more to you than the disability. There's far more to Gaz, and that's what we want to really get into.
Okay.
You happy with that?
Absolutely.
No, that's really cool. Now, I'm aware that you was born with your disability. Could you give the listeners an insight into what this condition is called, and can you explain a bit about the condition?
Yeah, so I have a condition which is quite rare. It's called a right hemiplegia. Basically, it is a paralysis that has less mobility on the right hand side of my body. It could be on either side, but for me, it's on the right hand side. So that affects my leg, my arm, my speech, and a few other things as well. I have, again, as you said, Dad, it has been going on since the day I was born. So I have grown up with it. However, like you said, it doesn't. I am not that sort of slogan where I'm disabled. Please, 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 please be be nice to me and whatnot. I'm just like any other person. Do you know what I mean? And I want to stress that to everyone that I speak to, and to everyone that I meet around, because at the end of the day, I love speaking to people.
Yeah.
And if people see me as a normal person that has no disability, that's exactly what I want.
Exactly. And I, from knowing you for a few, I say a few years, it's been a long time, mate, through college and stuff. And how many years has that been?
It's been, what are we talking, 15 years now?
No.
Yeah, 15, 16 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I know you as being a people's person, mate.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? You've never really shied away from people. You've always been quite confident in your approach, whether that is the real Gaz or you were masking, at the end of the day. But you have been very, very confident in speaking to people.
Well, yeah, I exude confidence. Sometimes it can be a mask, but most of the time it isn't. That's just me as a person. I want to speak to people from all walks of life, like you. I don't judge anyone. I'm going to go over there and speak to you because I want to speak to you. So
no, I like that. Now, I'm guessing that when you were born with a disability, you almost know no different to a world without this condition. Mm-hmm. Do you remember your earliest age that you first become aware that you may have been different to other children growing up?
Yes. So when I was, I went to a special school called Horton Wood School, which is in Telford. I think that's still going today, to be fair. And
would it be Horton Wood School or would it be Horton? Because there is a Horton School as a special school.
Horton School, then. Yeah.
Horton School, right?
Yeah,
okay,
Horton
yeah, that
School.
Is still going. You're right. Yeah,
that is still going, and that's when I knew I was different compared to everyone else because the people around me had some sort of special needs, and I worked out that, hang on a second, I'm with these group of kids that have got special needs like me. And that's when I knew. That's when I realised that I had this condition. Obviously, I've been told by doctors and whatnot, but when you're a kid, you don't really think about it, do you? You just want to go out and play football. A really, really quick story about that, actually. One of my biggest things when I was a kid was I wanted to play football. I couldn't speak. So I pointed at the screen to my nan, who has now unfortunately passed away, but I love her to bits. I pointed to the screen. It must have been a football match, and she goes, "Well, if you want to play football, you need to start walking." And I tell you what, mate, it worked like a treat because now I walk everywhere. You know what I mean?
That's a sound bit of advice, isn't it? It's almost like tough love, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, well, and then she would say, if you want that grape on the windowsill, you need to walk to get that grape. Again, it sounds so small to so many people, but it absolutely worked. It was great. And yes, I've had to have some physiotherapy, but that sort of push helped me to get where I am today.
Do you remember a particular time in your youth where you was met with challenges related to your disability? Sports days, getting dressed for swimming, things like that.
Yeah. So, well, after I caught up mentally, as in. When I was younger, I was a bit backward. So my reading and writing age wasn't at the level it should be at that age. But I caught up at Horton School, and then I went to Sheriff Hale School, which is in Shore, I think it is. Yeah. There's my stutter, by the way. Sorry, guys. I noticed. There was a challenge with me when it came to getting changed in the changing rooms with other people. It was a case of yes, I know how to put a t-shirt on, but when it came to trousers and zips and laces and stuff like that, did become a challenge. But again, I didn't shy away from asking people to help me out, because at the end of the day, I needed to learn to speak to people. And I mean, when it came to football, people were surprised at how good I was. So that was never an issue. And rounders, I mean, yeah, I've got one hand that I use and the other hand that I can't use as much, but I had a mean left hand. So every time we played rounders, I would whack it out of the field because again, you know, you have to learn to cope.
Was you any good at catching one-handed?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, come on, Gaz,
absolutely.
come on.
I used to dive left, right, above and whatnot.
Nice.
I would get dirty, and I would make sure that I get that ball. Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah,
I just love. I respect the fact that, you know, the disability doesn't define you. It's all good me saying it, but you believing that it doesn't define you and rolling with that.
Yeah.
Now, children can be quite cruel, let's face it, especially when they don't have a solid understanding of something. How did other children react to the physical side of your disability? Did you encounter any questions, or worse than that, did you encounter bullying?
It's a very good question. Right, so primary school wasn't, I mean, when because I went to primary school in Germany, it was an army primary school, so I was still in primary school with people that you know, that speak English. Do you know what I mean? So in primary school there is no politics really. You know, every kid gets on with everyone else until you get to year 6, right? When it comes to getting into secondary school, because I went to the Sutherland, that's when it started to heat up, and it was at first it was extremely difficult, but again, I had to cope. I coped as much as I possibly can. And I remember a time when we got into year 8 and year 9. People were pushing me. They were slapping me. They were chasing me and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah. It was. But I'm not a grass. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you know what? I can cope with it. It's absolutely fine. But there was one time when I lived in Trench, where I just couldn't take it anymore. So I lashed out and said, right, that's it. I have had enough. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I said, but it was pretty bad.
I mean, I will tell you, it's completely up to you, but these podcasts are raw and uncut, mate. So if you're a bit loose with your language, that's good. That's good. It's fine. It's
okay.
Fine.
So it was. I said, do you know what? I'm going to fucking kill you. Really, really, really went for it, but I was a young kid, right? And I was chased by 3 or 4 boys, probably in year 9 and in year 10. Now, this wasn't in the Southern school as such. So, do you know when you walk up to Trench from the Sutherland, you've got Rocketine Wood School?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these guys took the piss out of me every fucking time.
Were these from Rockers then, or
yes,
from your? Yeah,
they were from Rockers.
See, there was a bit of rivalry between Sutherland and Rockers. I was a Rockwoodine lad, and it was like, we don't go near the Sutherland. And the funny thing is now, you know, Rockwoodine Wood has obviously been bashed to the ground, and they've now built the Priory School,
yes,
and that is a mixture of the Sutherland and Rockwoodine Wood. So in hindsight, you know, they've all come together.
Exactly.
But so, back in the day, you're right. Yeah, there was rivalry.
But listen, I was easy meat.
yeah.
But fortunately, I've got a very good network around me and a family that would take care of me left, right, and centre. And I remember my stepsister Claire. She sorted these lads out for me time and time again. Bless her. So I would never forget that moment. But yeah, but after year 9. After I lashed out at someone, I then began to gain respect.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, isn't it? Just to stand up to these people. Yeah,
and during year 10 and 11, I was popular. So I mean, people say that that school defines you as a person. I think it did, because it taught me that that there are other ways of coping, but also to don't be shy and stick up for yourself. And I think there are many people in that situation. I mean, it's a totally different ball game now, because obviously we didn't have the internet.
No.
But kids these days have, and they can bully online.
It's vile, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think a lot more needs to be done now for bullying, because they can just PM someone and go, you know.
I often say, like, with my daughter's got autism, my youngest daughter, and you know, we try to build character for her, because we try to make her. This is a saying that I've kind of always held with me when it's come to development, and we try to make her adapt to the world because the world won't adapt to her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of teaching her life lessons and putting her out of her comfort zone.
Yes.
And yeah. As much as it hurts me to see her out of her comfort zone, this is the harsh reality of when she grows up as an adult. There is going to be times where she's not going to be wrapped in cotton wool, and she is going to have to stand on her own 2 feet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a harsh life lesson. But as you said, growing up as a man now, they were quite valuable lessons.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely, yeah.
Now growing up, you know, children can learn, and they can be led through many types of different parenting. For example, like in your case, you may have had parents who wanted to wrap you up in cotton wool and protect you from the world, causing you not to do very much for yourself or in the aspect of exploring. Or you can have parents who push you to be able to do everything, and not let your disability stand in your way. What was your parents' approach to you growing up as a child with a disability?
Yeah, so I'm going to be speaking mainly about my dad here. My dad, you know, he is ex-army, and he was very, I wouldn't say very tough, but he was tough on me, and he was just like my nan. He said, well, if you want to do this, then you need to learn how to do this. You need to think on your own 2 feet. Sorry, but is that my phone? Sorry. So I'll just put that over there. So it's that's what my dad was like. Now, unfortunately, my mum and my dad split up when I was at an early age. There was a chance that my hand could get better with a lot of exercise and a lot of therapy, physical therapy, but because of the split, you know, it just didn't happen. When I came back to England, now my dad moved back to England, so I stayed with my mum. I came back to England to live with my dad, and I had a stepmom who I dearly love. Her name is Mal, and again, Mal was quite tough, but in a loving way. If you want to do this, you need to learn how to do it instead of wrapping me in cotton wool. But if I ever wanted help from either of them, you know full well that they will help.
No, that's great. That is really good. Now, if a parent's approach would be to wrap their child in cotton wool and protect them from the world, which in return would cause lack of like exploration, how do you think that would impact someone in their adult life? So,
I mean, wrapping someone in cotton wool is something that a lot of people do these days. Now, you have to bear in mind that when I was your daughter's age, we didn't have the internet. So it was a little bit easier for me, right? The thing is now, with the internet, you go to school, you come home, and you still get bullied from those kids.
There's no getting away from it.
There is no getting away with it. So I completely understand, and I tell you right now, when I do have kids, not if, when, I will try my utmost to make sure that they are tough enough to get past that, but at the same time, I do want to shield them away from the abuse that they're getting, because I know full well that it's dreadful for them at this day and age.
Yeah, is this a condition that can be hereditary or?
No. It's that's a good question. The reason why I got this, disability is, I mean, I hear two stories. One, I could have had a stroke when I was in my mum's womb because my mum was in labour for such a long time. Or two, they pulled me out with forceps, which is something that they shouldn't have done,
right,
because it does cause a little bit of damage. So I don't actually know what happened, but those are the two ways that it could have happened, and that was at the Telford Princess Royal. By the way, the NHS is absolutely fantastic. They just made a little mistake.
Yeah. So, have you always embraced your disability as a strong part of yourself, or was there a time when you would shy away from it?
Oh, I shied away for years.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah. I wanted to be as and when I was a kid, I wanted to be as normal as everyone else. It's only recently, and I'm talking recently, when I turned 31 or 32, that I said, "Fuck it."
Good for you, mate.
And that's why I got this tattoo. Out of order.
What's the tattoo say?
Out of order.
Brilliant. So yeah, just for the listeners that are, obviously can't see, Gaz has a tattoo on his hand which says "out of order," and that is applicable and fantastic, mate, because you've really made the light-hearted joke about that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, beating them bullies to it, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't get bullied now.
No, of course not.
The love that I get from so many people, including yourself, and to everyone else, it's absolutely fantastic, and brilliant.
Have you ever had to go undergo any operations or continuous treatment for your disability?
When I was a kid, that should have been the case. Physiotherapy, but it didn't come to that. Now I could do it now. However, I've had this since the day I was born. I'm 41 now. Why change it?
Yeah, no, I get that. Growing up, has your disability ever got in the way of relationships or meeting new friendship groups?
No,
absolutely
not.
I like it. Good.
No. I've
and that's the way it should be, mate.
Should be. I mean, yes, I've got this disability, but I know how to talk to people, and I've been told time and time again how charming I am, so it's never got in the way at all. What you see is what you get with me.
No, that's great. Now, moving on from being a child to attending college, which is where I had the pleasure of meeting you for the first time.
Yes.
As we said many, many years ago, you had quite a solid group of friends back then, and even people you didn't necessarily hang around with still appeared very pleasant to you. Is that something you found now in society as well?
Oh, yeah. I think in society these days, I think people, especially the younger generation now, because there is a lot more media coverage when it comes to people with disabilities, they're more receptive, and they see a disability, and they will either ask me a question, "What's your disability called?" or they just treat me like a normal person. It's completely different these days because of the media coverage and the fact that it is everywhere. So you've got comedians who've got disabilities. You can see the Paralympics. I think I saw the other day a basketball match where people in wheelchairs were playing basketball, and my God, these people are absolutely fantastic.
Pure athletes as well, isn't it?
Pure athletes, and that's the good thing about the internet. That is the best thing about the internet, because it's people of race, of disability. You could be trans, anyone in the LGBTQ. Do you know what? I've lost my train of thought. But anyone in that area is being embraced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forget the trolls. It's making a statement.
Yeah.
Here I am, and here's the person that I am, and I absolutely love that.
No, that's great. I mean, I've got in a couple of weeks' time, I've got Mickey Bushell coming down for a podcast, and he is the Paralympic gold medalist from Telford, so I'm really looking forward to that one. He's a wheelchair user. He's the one that actually climbed the Wrekin on his hands.
Fantastic.
Climbed the Wrekin on his hands. He had a team that he said, "This is what I want to do. I want to climb the Wrekin." They looked at chairs and he said, how about I do it on my hands? And it took him a very long time, and I'm sure that was just pure energy that went into actually accomplishing that. But he had a team around him, and he managed to climb from bottom to top on his hands, which is just truly amazing to me.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. I mean?
No, it's absolutely great. So have you, at what age did you really start to embrace your disability, did you say?
Right, so it was at I'm trying to think, when was the Queen's funeral?
Oh, you're asking now, mate.
Right, so I got this tattoo during the Queen's funeral. So it was, I'm guessing we're talking 3 or 4 years or 5
probably.
ago. I'm a late bloomer, but this was during the time when I was going through some really bad mental health issues, and I was trying to find ways to fix myself, and it was around that time, so I was around 35, 36. Yeah.
Now, I'm aware that, like, when applying for jobs, there's that little small box on the application form to fill out, which asks that if you have any disabilities and whether they impact your day-to-day life. Now, I know that employees have an expectation to be honest on these. Mm-hmm. So we tick them, and, when you do, you're at risk of discrimination. It's a cruel world. They're not supposed to, but you are at risk of discrimination. Have you ever been subjected to any form of discrimination in a workplace?
Yes. So I'm not going to mention the workplace, but people that know me know that I worked at a particular workplace for 15 years, and I was discriminated again and again and again. Because I was a young kid, I was in my late teens, early 20s. I didn't really see it.
Everyone else in it, though, yeah.
But everyone else did. And I remember a time when I wanted to do a health and safety course, and I was told that I wouldn't be able to do it because I wouldn't be able to do CPR, and that was the clincher for me.
Yeah.
That's when I saw it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that didn't stop me from carrying boxes. That didn't stop me from doing the job that I want to do. But that's the first time I saw a discriminative sort of comment that came from a person.
What kind of different jobs have you done since leaving college? Like, did you go to university, further education?
No, so I didn't go to university. I worked in retail for 15 years. My dad always taught me to be a grafter, so I have grafted. And right now, I work for a pensions and life company here in Telford.
Now, this question I normally leave till the end, but while I've got you reflecting on your childhood to now, I want to know, if you had one piece of advice to give your younger self, what would it be? To basically embrace my disability at a much younger age. That's what I really want to tell myself when I was a kid, that I need to start embracing it, and to show people that here I am. If you like me, that's fine. If you don't, it's your loss. Do you feel that you wasted a few years shying away from it? Yeah,
100%. What I used to do, is I used to hide my right hand, my disability, behind my back or in my pocket, so that people didn't see it. It was easier to hide my leg because you can wear jeans or tracksuits, but everyone can see the hand.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I would say, because I felt ashamed. You know what I mean?
Sad, isn't it?
It's
in hindsight, it's sad, isn't it?
In hindsight, it's sad. But when you're that age, you want to be like everyone else.
Yeah, 100%.
And my family has said, don't hide your hand, embrace it. It's yours. And I didn't listen. You know what I mean? You know, when you're a young kid, you just don't think about it, do you? Know?
And you do think you know best to a certain extent,
absolutely,
don't you?
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to make this podcast all about your disability, Gaz. However, I think it is so important to highlight these topics, as I want to see, the real you in the hot seat today, and your disability is a big part of you.
Absolutely.
And please believe, I am a massive believer that every disability has an ability, regardless of what they have. You know, I have such a big range of different walks of life that play these podcasts. So do you have any advice to any of my listeners who may be living with a disability and may feel like a little bit conscious about themselves right now?
Yes. So as I said earlier, it's I wish I embraced it when I was a lot younger. Don't forget now that we live in a world where many people in the media who watch the internet, who watch YouTube, TikToks, who watch TV, there are many disabled people in this world who are in the spotlight and they embrace it. And I really want to tell these people that are going through maybe a tough time with their disability to embrace it. You are not different. Embrace it and make sure that you are getting the love and support from everyone that you meet, because I tell you right now, you will, trust me.
And please believe, you know, this is coming from the man himself. It could, you know, I could be sat here saying the same thing, but it wouldn't mean half as much than someone who has genuine life experiences when it comes to this.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So do you think that disability is a lot more accepted these days as opposed to when you were growing up?
Yes, yeah, which is, we've already stepped on that topic, but I'll explain further. If you have a look at The Last Leg, for instance, that is a show on Channel 4 that embraces disability.
Oh, right.
But they are comedians as well, and they take the piss out of themselves whilst taking the piss out of everything that is going on in the world at the moment. And more things need to be done like that, because there are many people that still feel like they can't show themselves because they feel like they can't. The more we do, the more that we show on TV and the media, the more that we can embrace people's disabilities, because let's just face it, they are still people. And the only difference is when it comes to people with a disability, they want to be as independent as possible. You know, make sure you give them that independence. If they need help, then please help them.
I totally agree with you. And you're like, you know, when I've been around special needs children, young people, adults, and then I see members of the public that go, oh, I really feel sorry for them. I'm like, no, they don't need your pity.
No.
You know, and some of these children, that's all they've known, Gaz. They don't know a life where that one limb would work perfectly fine, because that's all they've known. So why, you know, they don't need your pity, you know. And I always say this to people, please don't feel sorry for these people, because your heart can go out to them as in, you know, I wish things were different for them, but they don't need you to feel sorry for them, Gaz.
Absolutely. And I think with me, what I had going on for me was the fact that I could talk. That I can, that I caught up with my reading and writing, and I knew how to speak about my feelings, you know, and that helped a lot. But there are many people in this situation that haven't got the capability to do that, so they don't want that. They just want to be classed as any other person in society.
100%. Now I think people are very quick to judge these days. You know, there's so many people out there who have hidden disabilities that to look at them you would never know. And because of this, people instantly judge to the point where, for example, I took my daughter who has autism to use a public toilet the other week, and the looks I got upon leaving that toilet was disgusting. You know, another example of that is when my daughter has a blue badge, and you know, we got out the car, and because we physically appear to look okay, people quickly jump to the assumption that we've just used a disabled space for no reason. Do you know what I mean? And that really gets me, Gaz. You know, it really winds me up at times.
But the thing is, you can see my disability, but people still look.
Do they?
It's like, well, this guy can walk. Why is he in a disabled space? You know, people need to stop judging people. That's never going to happen, obviously, but this is why having people with disabilities in the spotlight can alleviate that problem.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. What kind of challenges have you faced as an adult with your disability?
That's a good question, actually. A very, very good question. So I have every now and again I do have a speech impediment, especially when it comes to work and being on the phone and whatnot, which again is something that I have to embrace. It doesn't happen often now, but it is still there. The challenges that I don't really feel that much challenges anymore, apart from the fact that I can't walk as far. I do get pain in my right arm and leg time and time again, but that comes with age, and I'm at a stage in my life now where that's going to happen, Many people that are in their 40s can still lead a life where they can walk or run up the Wrekin or go or just do a walk around the world trip. It's something that I can't do anymore. You know what I mean? I used to be able to, but I can't anymore. So there is challenges. There was a time when I was trying to go up the Wrekin a few years ago, and I couldn't even walk halfway. It was just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Thinking about that, I was thinking about that the other day actually, and it got me quite emotional because for the first time my disability failed me. Yeah. Because it was the first time I realised I can't do it anymore.
You just remember that Mickey Bushell walks up that Wrekin on his hands, mate.
When you said that, I was thinking, my fucking God, seriously. This guy's showing me up. He really, really is.
You have a pair of legs. Mickey Bushell walked that Wrekin on his hands, bro. He's putting you to shame here. Come on.
I know, yeah. I got to start hopping on my left foot, aren't I, really, to get up there. So.
Have you met many other people with the same condition as you guys?
No, it's a pretty rare condition. But it's weird, actually, that you say that. There was a guy on The Traitors, which is a BBC programme, who did have the exact same condition as me, and I was like, I didn't even realise because it was just like any other person.
Was it on the right as well?
Yeah, it was on the right hand side.
Wow.
I thought, wow, okay, I need to meet this guy. I'll do a podcast now. I'm joking.
Well, if you do, link me up.
I will do, of course, absolutely. Yeah.
Now we've covered your disability, and for me, I want to stress that first and foremost, there is, as again, like I said, there is far more to Gaz Underhill than just that. But at the same time, I felt it was equally important to cover this topic for the benefit of the wide range of listeners to my podcast. You see, now let's move on to another condition that you've suffered with for a while now. And that is the ever-growing battle of mental health.
Yep.
So tell me, Gaz, what was your first experience of mental health?
Okay, so I didn't realise that I had a mental health condition until I turned 30. I was working at a well-known retail store, and it was during Christmas time. I just started to lose my shit, as in I just lost it. It came out of nowhere. It built up. When you throw a small rock down a hill and it's snowing, it gains traction. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Typical bloke. I bottled those feelings up, and then all of a sudden, bang. It just came and I lost it.
Really?
Absolutely. I had a massive breakdown during the Christmas period at the busiest time of the year in front of loads of people.
And that was kind of your first experience of...
Yes.
Because, yeah, it's quite funny you say that, because when I got diagnosed with depression, again, like yourself, I didn't even know I had it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I went into this counselling going, I'm depressed. I had no clue. I was just going on like I normally do.
It's weird, yeah.
And then someone went, hang on a minute. In fact, not someone. My wife went, hang on a minute. There's a lot of stuff you're doing here which presents as depression.
Yeah, and there was a friend at work, Sally. She said, "You're depressed," and I went, "No, I'm not. I'm a bloke. I don't get depressed."
Yeah.
And the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking, she may have a point. But I carried on working through it.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I don't need therapy. I don't need tablets. I'm just going to carry on.
Yeah.
You know, and when I had that breakdown, I knew she was right.
Yeah. Do you feel that there is more awareness of mental health now compared to many, many years ago?
Yeah. When I was 30, and I went to go and see the doctor about it for the very, very first time, it was unheard of. A bloke having depression. Don't be so fucking stupid. You know what I mean?
That's stupid. There's them two words that I really grind my gears, and that's man up.
Man up.
Mate, I can't stand that. I can't stand that.
Absolutely hate it. But, I mean, it took me a while to get to the doctor, right? But my lovely fiancée, my future wife, Sherilyn, said, you need to go and see a doctor because this is not right. I went, okay, fair enough. But I felt ashamed because I'm meant to be the bloke,
the alpha male,
the alpha male,
the one that everyone leans on.
Absolutely, yeah. And
mate, I'm with you.
I'm the sort of person that likes to help people but doesn't help himself. You know what I mean? So that's when I knew that I had an issue. But the thing is, though, like I said earlier, it was unheard of. How old am I now? 41. We're talking 12 years ago.
Yeah. Which isn't really that long ago to have, you know, the fact that it was unheard of. I mean, how sad's that?
Sad.
I feel quite blessed in the fact of, you know, I'm coming up, you know, I'm obviously close to 40 now, but we're living in an age now where it is acceptable. Exactly. So I can do these podcasts and I can get other males in and they're happy to talk.
Yes.
And like you said, 12 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do a podcast about it because, as you said, it was unheard of. And B, I wouldn't be able to get any guests because no one would want to talk about it.
Exactly.
Because like you said, they're ashamed. Now, you mentioned that you suffer with depression and anxiety. Now, I've also suffered with both of these, and I'm very much aware that, you know, the combination of the two of them can absolutely take everything out of you.
Yes.
It can change your whole life and the choices that you make as well.
Yeah.
Can you think of a scenario where mental health has taken a hold of you and not allowed you to take part in something that you would do so naturally before?
I didn't leave the house for 7 years.
Well, there you go. That's a bloody good one there, mate.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I did not leave the house for 7 years.
7 years? Is that really?
Seriously.
Was that across COVID? Because COVID knocked me for
That was it was before COVID and during COVID as well.
Jeez,
there was a time when I was getting better, then COVID hit and it just brought me back again. It's a horrible cycle. I'm sure you know that the reason why you are depressed is because you've got no control, and with anxiety you want to get control, and then this horrible cycle is just going around and around and around. You haven't got control, so you're depressed, but the anxiety saying you need to get control, but I can't get control. And that right there was my life for 7 years.
I mean, they say depression's bad, but anxiety is awful, Gaz, isn't it? You know, I overthink every damn situation.
Oh, yeah.
Every situation, I think the worst is going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I always thought that maybe there'd be a pattern to when it would hit me, but no. Like, I was shopping with my wife and kids, and nothing had happened. I'd had quite a chilled day, and then, boom, that anxiety hit me. I had to get out of there, sit in the car. Nothing would settle my mind. I had this, like, I can only describe it as, you know, I hope you never experienced this, and if you have, then, you know, my condolences. But like when you get a phone call to say that someone's passed away, you know, you'll get a phone call to say, I'm really sorry, so-and-so's passed away, and that initial dread hits your chest. That's what I was living with, like, day to day. I'd wake up and as soon as I'd open my eyes, that dread would hit my chest like something bad was about to happen. And I could not shake it off, Gaz.
No,
I couldn't shake it off.
I'm totally with you there. It's anxiety. I don't think it gets spoken about enough.
No.
I don't, because
People go, well, everyone's got a bit of anxiety.
Nah. No.
If you've got it, you've got it.
No, you've absolutely got it. And don't get me wrong, I still deal with the anxiety on a day-to-day basis. I work in a job where I am helping people, and I hear their sad stories, and it's hard.
Yeah,
you know
man,
what I mean?
you've got a heart, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I've got empathy.
Yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to people in these situations, but to counteract that, I can use it to my advantage. I want to help people. I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
Because I've been through it, and I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I am literally like my own worst enemy with this anxiety, mate. Like, to the point of, I've had, friends that don't speak to me no more because I've been over obsessive with, WhatsApp's the one, mate. The message is blue ticked, but you haven't messaged me back. What's going on? Have I done something? Have I fell out with you? What was the last thing I said to you? Was it okay? Then I'll send another message, and then I'll send another message. And they'll just be like, just you give me too much here. Just leave me alone. You know what I mean? And then I'll feel like my intention wasn't that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand.
But I kind of need, with me, I kind of need a reason to why things happen, an outcome, and if I don't get that reason, my brain just goes over. It goes into meltdown, mate.
I completely understand that, and I still do that to this day. I've been I was off work for a bit because I relapsed a little bit, especially when it comes to anxiety. I was dreadful. It was difficult to have that support, though. I had the support straight away, which I didn't have. I mean, apart from my fiance and my family, that I didn't have that support, especially when it comes to where I used to work. The difference is now I've got that support. I've got that network. I've got friends, and the fact that I'm speaking here right now will tell you that I'm quite happy to speak about my experiences with it. But I don't know about you, but when it comes to depression and anxiety, I've got a love-hate relationship with it, and it's really hard to understand. However, once you've had it, you know that you've had it, and you are quite happy to deal with it in your own little way. Now many people go to therapy. Many people take some tablets. There is no right or wrong way to get over it. As long as you get over it, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'm on pregabalin, which is like an anxiety med.
Yeah.
So I'm on that now. But still, I wouldn't say it's waved a magic wand and took it away.
No.
I think it's more of a psychological thing. I'm not going to have an anxiety attack because I'm on the meds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah.
that anxiety. It's that it's in your mind that you think, I'm on the meds, so I'm not going to have an anxiety attack, and that kind of plateaus and allows me to.
I mean, with me, I was having night terrors on a day-to-day basis, and these were vivid. They seemed real.
Wow.
So I had to be put on antipsychotic meds because they were so real, and that has helped me take control.
Yeah.
I'm taking sertraline, which is an antidepressant, which keeps my focus going, and they have helped me. But I think I'm now at a situation where I can start coming off them.
Nice.
Obviously, I need to go to the. Well, I am going to the doctor.
You have to slowly reduce them, don't you? You can't just come off them.
No, you can't. You can't now, because I've been on those for years. So.
Yeah. Who was, like you mentioned about your colleague who said, I think you're depressed. Who was the first person that you reached out to and made aware that you were struggling?
It's a good question. It was my fiance. I'm pretty. But that is it. It was my fiance.
How did she react initially? Was she very positive, very supportive?
She knew.
She knew, right? Yeah.
She knew, but I was doing things that were completely out of my character, and that's when she knew. Now, obviously, I don't want to be, I don't want to be too on the ball here. But when it comes to women, I think most women are quite perceptive, and she is very, very perceptive.
Yeah.
She knew that I was completely out of character and that there was something wrong.
Women have a good way of doing that, Gaz.
Completely.
My wife often says to me, I know you better than you know yourself.
Yeah.
And she's right.
Yeah.
I never admit it, but she's right, mate.
She absolutely. Yeah.
Don't tell her.
No.
She's in the house at the moment. Don't tell her. Hope she's not the other side of this glass going.
Do you know what? I think my fiance will say, I told you so. You're like, okay.
Yeah. All right. So, Gaz, describe. This might get your thinking cap on it. Describe a typical day for you when you're really suffering with your mind, mate.
Yeah, I'm really gonna tell this to you now. When it comes to this sort of thing, I find it hard to get up in the morning. Especially when it comes to depression. Recently, over the past few weeks, I have found it very, very hard to get out of bed. But I'm getting anxious because I am in bed, so I try to get myself up and try to get myself sorted. It's an external struggle on a hour-to-hour basis, and that is something that I need to address. It is going to take a while, but it's a horrible cycle. As we've said, it's dealing with anxiety and depression, and on a day-to-day basis, I don't feel like I can get up. However, I'm anxious because I'm not getting up, so I have to get up.
Yeah. I know with me, like when I'm suffering a lot, I won't take good care of myself. And when I say that, like, I've got epilepsy, I've got rheumatoid arthritis, I've got sleep apnea. So all of that, I take consistent medication every single day to keep bits at bay. And I know when I'm struggling, I miss medication and everything,
Yeah.
My wife's just like, why have you not took this?
Yes, yeah.
But so self-care goes out the window.
Yeah, no, it's this is the thing. Self-care is a big one for me because I pride myself to look the best and to moisturize and do my hair and whatnot. But
for the listeners that don't know, Gaz is a bit of a pre-boy. I would. Well, this is awkward.
No, mate, I'm all yours, but anyway. So
you're on my couch. You're definitely all mine, mate. I pride myself to look the best that I can, and on the bad few years, I would never get out of bed and wash. Really?
I was done there. I just couldn't do it.
Have you always had a good understanding of mental health, Gaz, or do you think it's something that you've more recently come to learn about?
More recently, because like with people with disabilities, I think mental health now is getting bigger. People are starting to realise that it is an epidemic.
It really is.
I feel it is now. However, I won't go too deep into this, but I don't think there is enough help.
No.
People have got it, but they can't find the help.
Yeah.
Because I went to the doctors again to say, right, I have an issue. I need to get this sorted. All they did, I rang 111. All they did was, here are some places that you can go to. I don't want that. No. I need help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I had to do it myself.
Yeah. Here's a list of websites.
Exactly.
Have a look at the frequently asked questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
It's. I don't think there is enough funding.
No.
I mean,
what I genuinely think is will never ever cap mental health fully. You know, this podcast alone will never ever fully cap mental health. But what I have noticed, guys, and this is why it was so important to get you down, is, you know, I cover a range of topics with these podcasts, and sometimes, mate, just sometimes, and if I do get one, you will be the first person I'll be forwarding it to. Just sometimes I have a comment on YouTube, or I have an inbox message that says, do you know what? This has really helped me, and it's pushed me to go and get the help. So if we can help one person, Gaz, through this podcast,
perfect.
It's job done, mate.
Absolutely
That's
perfect.
what I'm trying to say. Like, we'll never fully cap this, but if we can help one person, mate, then that's kind of my intention.
Absolutely.
One person that's not going to shy away from their disability, one person that may think, actually, I am going to go and get the help.
Yeah.
Perfect, mate.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. So have you mentioned that you suffer with depression, and, you know, I'm aware that depression can show itself in many different forms. Have you ever had suicidal thoughts?
A lot of times.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to go into too much detail.
No, I want to.
Just okay.
If
you want to, it's raw and uncut.
I think it's. I think it's nice to share it with people, and I want to help people by giving my own experiences. I tried to set my life 4 times.
Wow.
4 times, and each time I either failed or stopped myself. And I remember the first time that I did try to end my life. This is a really stupid story, but this is the thing about pets. I was in my kitchen, and I was ready. I was ready to go. So I got everything sorted out. One of my cats came onto my lap, and she put her paw on me, on my right hand, as if to say, "Don't." That's
really,
yeah.
It's really interesting. That is, Gaz.
Yeah, I think with pets, cats, especially with cats. I mean, cats are known by many people as the absolute twats of the animal kingdom. Do you know what I mean? But you
don't own a cat; they own you, don't they, Gaz?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've got 4.
Everything's on their terms.
Exactly. I've got 4. It's their kingdom, not mine. Do you know what I mean? But she came on my lap and just started purring, nudging, and she just stared at me like that, and that's what made me stop.
Wow.
The other times, the other time was when I had a psychotic episode, and I was waiting for a car to come and run me over, and that car stopped. Just. The other times, I was thinking, I can't do this to my friends and family, and especially my fiance.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I know. When you're in that situation, all you think about is, I'm done. Absolutely done.
It's funny you should say that, because, and I was guilty of this in the past until I got a better sound understanding, but a lot of people would say, oh, they've committed suicide, they're ever so selfish, think of their mom, think of their dads, think of their kids. No. From doing a lot of research and speaking to other people like yourself that have been in that frame of mind, I've never been in that frame of mind, I've never been suicidal, thank God, but they say that you don't take any of that into consideration. All you think is your mind is fully set that everyone will be so much better off when you're gone. Exactly
that, and it's very counterintuitive.
That's a big word, Gaz.
Thank you very much.
But you can't spell it.
No,
don't bother.
So when you know that this is, well, you say to yourself, this is the end, you start to perk up, right? And you're thinking, do you know what? I'm going to do it. And you don't think about anything else, because your mind is set on yourself. You want you've had enough. Your head is in an absolute state, and you think, right, that's it. and you just think about yourself. You don't think about the other people. The thing is, though, when my cat did that, put a paw on my arm, that's when I thought about my network of friends, family, and my fiance.
Well, thank the Lord that cat did that, mate.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord, because you're far too valuable to be leaving this world right now, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You mentioned that, obviously, going back to the anxiety. Can you describe what anxiety felt like for you, or feels like for you?
Oh God, I suffer from panic attacks. Okay, and it is like your mind is doing a marathon and it won't stop, and it just won't stop. Right? Obviously, when you're doing a marathon in real life, you get absolutely shattered. Mm-hmm. And I mean completely drained. Mm-hmm. And that was like me. That was like me on a daily basis.
Every day.
Yes.
Wow. How do you manage feelings of anxiety and depression when they arise? Have you got any techniques?
Yes. 5 things that you can see. 5 things
that's
you
a good one. That is.
5 things you can hear. And 5 things you can feel.
Does that work for you guys?
It works every time.
Fantastic.
It works every time, and obviously many people are going to be doing different things in different ways. But for me, that helps me a lot, because what you're doing there is you're not thinking about what's going on in your head. You're thinking about what's going on somewhere else. And that calmed me down, especially when I'm about to have a panic attack. That is the best way for me to calm myself down, and it works a treat for me.
Can you share a time when you successfully navigated a difficult mental health situation? I know you mentioned about the cat there, but is anything else you can think of?
Yeah, I think I deal with it now a lot better than what I did. Obviously, it was new when I was in my 30s, but now when I'm 41, I think the best way for me to deal with the condition that I've got is to not sort of embrace it, but to speak about it. And I have been speaking about it to other people. I did do a few VODs on YouTube about my mental health.
Great.
And that helped me a lot, and it helped people a lot. You will not believe how many men have said to me, "Fuck, I've got a problem."
It's a great feeling, mate, when you know that you've put some out there and you've had these things come back.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that, because I've got empathy, but I don't mind sharing. I really, really don't.
So right now, tell me about how confident you've been feeling in your capabilities recently.
That is a good question. I've recently had a little relapse, but now I've got myself back into work. I'm the sort of guy that wants to be spontaneous, but at the same time I want some sort of a routine. Getting that routine back, getting that Gaz back that wants to talk to people and wants to make people laugh and start joking and having a little banter and whatnot. That is me. Yeah. Completely me. Yeah. That is not me forcing it. That is me being me. Go on.
I mean, the fact that you're here tonight / today, is a big thing, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because like you said, like when you wouldn't come out of the house at that time, this wouldn't have even happened.
No, it wouldn't have.
I would have messaged you and you'd been like, no, you're all right. Forget that. So like when professionals talk about mental health, they often refer back to the 4 C's, which is like confidence, control, commitment, and challenge. Do you feel it's important to stay committed to the fight to overcome these emotions?
Yes, 100%. Because I want to tell people out there right now, not just men. I want to tell people, anyone that is going through a really, really bad time at the moment, suicide is not the answer. 100% not the answer. There is help out there. Yes, at the moment you do need to find it, but there is help out there. And if you ever want to come out, if you ever want to speak to me, if you want to ever send me a message, please do. and I am willing to give you the help that you need to get back to where you should be.
No, that's amazing. And for the listeners, I will on the podcast, I will link Gaz's socials below, so you'll be able to check them out in the description. I think we've covered quite a lot there. So
I speak a lot, I'm sorry.
No, this is perfect for me. I told you I don't need one word answers. That would make a very difficult podcast. Absolutely. For the listeners and for me.
Yeah.
I mean, we have so many leaflets, booklets and professionals who can provide anyone suffering with coping strategies. But I want you to give my listeners, I know you've just said that directly there about the suicide, but I wanted you to give my listeners who may be out there struggling some advice on how to deal with their own mental health.
Yeah, listen, I've been there myself. It's difficult, very, very difficult. I've been there. I've cried. I've screamed, and it's difficult. Listen, but it's something that you can beat. It's something that you can cope with. It's something that you can get help for. I know there is lots of help out there. The NHS do have some resources for you. Yes, they may be limited, but there are. But listen, speak to someone. Please get help. Mm-hmm. There are many people like you, like me, who are going through some bad stuff. But listen, you can get through this. Speak to someone. Speak to anyone. Make sure that if you are the person on the other end, that you listen to them. They don't want advice. They just want someone to listen. And that is the one big thing that I say to everyone is, if your friend, if your daughter, if a close relative is explaining the issues that they've got, just listen. Because that's all they want, is someone to listen.
That's a sterling bit of advice there, mate. Definitely. I think people do need to take that advice on board, because this is straight from a man with experience. You're not sitting here with a professional with a degree and never been through what you're talking about. You've genuinely been through this, and that's what makes the difference between people listening.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And another thing that I would say to my listeners is, people don't compare yourself with people in society, because people can portray a very fake lifestyle, mainly on social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's very easy to go, well, oh, look at them, they're always happy, they've got a flashy car, they've got a nice holiday. What have I got? I've got a 1-bedroom flat and a cat. And there's nothing against cats, by the way, guys. That's not saying that you're on a downfall because you own a cat, because Gaz has got 4. But don't compare yourself, because it is far too easy to compare lifestyles on social media. And people can put out stuff and make themselves look as good as they want, but the real person behind that social media can be quite the opposite.
Oh yeah. Listen, the one thing that I'll say is that look at the many celebrities that have fallen foul of depression, anxiety. Chester, who's the Linkin Park lead singer, he had it all. He had kids, he had a beautiful wife, he had a big house and whatnot.
Yeah. That was sad when he went. I was shocked.
Exactly.
He was the soundtrack to my youth. He was Chester Bennett, mate.
Exactly. And Kendrick Lamar has gone through depression. You know what I mean? It's, again, extremely successful. It can happen to anyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I've spoke to you about your disability and speaking to your younger self, but if you could give yourself one piece of advice that you may not have even followed yourself recently, but if you could give yourself some advice about dealing with mental health, what would that be and why?
Again, it's the fact that I wish I spoke a lot more than what I did. But when I had it, I shut myself away. I closed the curtains, stayed in the dark room, didn't speak to anyone. I didn't even speak to my fiance, who, by the way, is a rock. By the way, absolutely fantastic. I wish I spoke. I wish I got the help I need quicker than what I did. And this is why I'm speaking. because I'm guessing there are going to be many people out there that are going through what I went through and what you went through.
Absolutely.
They need to realise that that there is someone out there that will listen.
Yeah.
And you can get the help you need.
Yeah, exactly that. Have you ever had any associates or friends confide in you that they may be struggling, and what steps have you took to support them?
And I was hoping this question will come up actually, because there are many. Now I'm a gamer. Okay, I play a lot of games like Overwatch, most recently Marvel Rivals. Call of Duty, and when it comes to gaming, they don't call it a network; they call it a community. Mm-hmm. And I met a large bunch of people in the Overwatch community. Now, in this community, everyone had some sort of mental health issue, anxiety, and depression. I speak to these people every day still. Do you know what I mean? And there's this guy called Mark, big up Mark, by the way, mm-hmm. Who is going through this right now. It's mainly anxiety, but I help him with the anxiety I hope I do anyway. But I help him with that a lot, and again, I just listen, because that's the best thing to do. You don't give that person advice unless they ask for it.
And sometimes it's nice to, like, I've been aware of friends that are struggling and they may not want to speak to me. I've put it out there and they've dismissed it, but checking in on someone every day as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And that can be something as simple as, you don't have to say, "Are you okay?" Just put a thumbs up, and if you get a thumbs up back, just accept the fact that they've acknowledged that and they've sent a response back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do that with many of my friends who are gamers, but at the same time in my workplace, just to make sure that they are okay. I think with women, it is accepted more than what it is for men. So I 9 times out of 10, I want to make sure that someone is okay, whether it be a man or a woman. And I think that's the best thing to do, is again just to make sure that someone is okay, because it could happen like that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's where I find it a little hard, because I've had 1 or 2 comments that have said, "You only support men. What about the women that are struggling with mental health?" Now, Gaz, I don't understand women at the best of times, Gaz. And I mean no badness on any female that might stumble upon these podcasts. Don't think Dribbz is some flipping whatever you want to call it. But I don't understand women at the best of times, so it's really hard. I will certainly help and I will point them to different services, but I kind of feel that women support women and men support men. It's nice to cross over, of course it is, but I've got more of a better understanding of males than I have of women.
My closest friend, I'm not going to mention her on here, but my closest friend is a woman, and during the time when I was going through a bad time, she was going through a bad time, and that helped me a lot. She because I was helping her, it made me realise that I had to get the help as well, and we both got through it together, and without her help as well, I wouldn't have got back to where I was today, because she was the one that said, "How about getting? Are you ready to go for a job?" And I went, "I think so." She sorted out my CV, and I applied for 2 jobs, thinking that I'm not going to get these jobs. The first job that I went for, I got.
Amazing.
Because of her help. And I feel like, yes, okay, when it comes to men and women, we are 2 totally different species, but what I'm saying is, when it comes to anxiety and depression, we can help each other.
Yeah,
and understand it more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
yeah, 100%. Now, like, one of the biggest worries that I had when accessing because I had childhood trauma counselling, which was obviously a specific type of counselling based on what I needed to face my demons, I suppose.
Yeah.
So the childhood trauma counselling, my biggest worry was whether I would instantly click with a professional, because let's face it, if you don't click with them, then you're less likely to open up to them. Yep. How was your experience with working alongside other professionals? Because you mentioned that you had therapy, or you're still going through therapy.
Yeah, so I've recently started therapy now, because I think I'm in a good place where I am improving now. So I have stopped it, but it has helped me a lot. Fortunately, when I did go through therapy, this again is for child trauma, believe it or not, because I didn't have the best of upbringings when I was a kid, so I clicked with a professional. She was wonderful. She was just there to listen, and that's what I wanted. But then she gave me some homework and said, right, okay, I want you to think about where you were and where you are now, and put it on a piece of paper on a day-to-day basis. Which is exactly what I did.
See, I wonder if yours was kind of similar to mine then, because I mean, it was the same, clearly the same basis of therapy, but mine was more, I had a lot of anger that my father put me through as a child, and it was anger towards him and the fact that I couldn't control what he was doing, the violence that he did as a child. But the counsellor, he taught me how to, he basically put it as, you've got a backpack on which is full of all these worries that you've been carrying since you were a child.
Yeah.
Let's pull all these worries out, put them on the table, and let's work out which ones you can control and which ones you couldn't control because you were just a nipper when all this was happening.
Yeah.
And it made me see a bit of sense, and I lost a lot of aggression I was walking around with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by no means have I accepted him now and all that stuff. As far as I'm concerned, he's gone out of my life, which is great, and I feel a better person for it. But yeah, to all these worries, there was worries that I was mithering about every single day, which I couldn't control back then, his actions, because he was an adult and I was a child.
Right.
And I didn't know it, I didn't know how to put these in order, but he taught me how to put them in order.
Mine was slightly different because mine wasn't anger, mine was nerves. I was an absolute wreck for no reason whatsoever. And what she did with me is again, just like you, putting these feelings on the table and then picking the ones that I can I can control and whatnot, and the feelings that I had when I was a kid, that's something that I should not be holding on to anymore, and just getting on with your life. But at the same time, me writing it out on a piece of paper, I then created poems, you know what I mean, and it made me think about the thoughts that I had when I was a kid, writing them down on a piece of paper and then putting it into a poem. It created that.
How did that help?
It created a story.
Yeah.
And I've got a black book at home where I'm looking back now and thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea.
But did that help you writing them poems?
It helped me a lot.
I can relate to that because, as you know, I'm a music artist.
Yeah.
My music, I write, I don't write about things that I haven't been through. I write about things that I've directly been through. And I did a track called Never Fall Apart, and it was all about the stuff that my father put me through, and I did a music video alongside it, and it was very, very deep. It was like the most personal track I've ever done. but my God, did it help to get all that stuff on
did.
paper?
Do
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how much it helped.
It's with your music, you can hear back to the feelings and that you had.
Yeah.
I mean, with me, it's writing it on a piece of paper.
It's the same kind of thing, though. I wrote lyrics on paper to start off with. I know the finishing product was a song, but essentially, just like yourself, I wrote lyrics on paper, and it's the same kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, and it was letting my vulnerability go and writing down on a piece of paper made me realise that, hang on a second, I can control this. And with music, I mean, it's an art form, isn't it?
Of course, it is.
And with art, it could be a poem, it could be anything. It helps. It really does help. And I had a lot of trauma when I was. I've had trauma because of my upbringing when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
When I had this therapy, she was wonderful.
Yeah.
It helps people and it doesn't help people. It just depends on the type of person
that
you are.
And whether you're open to it as well, you know.
Yeah.
They first offered me CBT, Gaz, and it was horrendous.
It's terrible.
It did not work for me at all.
No.
They were like,
same.
It's all these things for your toolbox. And no. And I thought, okay, I'll take this on board. And then by the end of it, it was like, by next week, you need to write a 200-page essay about blah, blah, blah. And it felt like I was back at school again,
yes.
Gaz. And I've got to do this essay and I've got deadlines, and I just couldn't handle it. So when I went to the counselling at that time, I spoke up, and I would say this to the listeners: if something doesn't work for you, please tell them. Don't wait for them to direct you. And I said to them, I really need some help, but CBT ain't for me.
Yeah.
And I was expecting them to go, well, we can't help you. And they actually said, well, each person's different. If it doesn't work for you, then we'll try something else.
Exactly that, yeah. I remember when I was going through CBT, I actually bought a book from Waterstones. I don't buy books, for God's sake, but I was thinking, you know what, I will try anything to get through this, but it wasn't working for me at all. It was I don't want to do homework. I want to express what I'm feeling right now, and I need therapy. This is exactly what I want. And coming back to it, you know, this is what I think the NHS need to do more of, is to help the people that need to be helped, not by CBT, but by giving people the opportunity to go through therapy if they want to do it. Absolutely. So, relating to everything that you've spoke about today, and all your personal experiences that you've disclosed, firstly, Gaz, I just want to say a huge heartfelt thank you on behalf of myself and all the listeners to the Dribbz podcast for being brave enough to speak about your journey, mate. And I truly believe someone out there will relate to what you're saying. I truly believe that. I really hope so.
Honestly. So now we've got the serious topics out the way. I love this part of the show. I haven't even told you what's coming now. I'm not going to get you to dress up, Gaz. As much as I'd love it while you're on my sofa, you've told me you're mine. So I've got a selection of mankinis to the left. Choose which one you'd like. Mate, this is great. So we're going to get a little bit light-hearted now.
Go for it.
We've got the serious topics out the way. It's time to have a little bit of fun. Get your thinking cap on now, Gaz. There's no wrong or right answer. These are just fun questions, mate.
Go for it.
All right, here we go then. Let's do this. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why, Gaz?
I would have
oh God, when I say it's raw and uncut, Gaz, just be careful.
Okay, so I would love to have a bionic arm that would and a fist that is the size of the earth, and basically just punch left, right and centre.
Nice. Nice, I like that. If you could have one song to play as your entry music each time you walked into a room, what would it be?
Ooh.
I know, it's good in that, isn't it? I like that.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, mate. So if you had one song that would play every time you walked into a room, what would it be? For the rest of your life. So you've got to be committed to this song.
Ooh.
It can be anything.
I'm thinking. Don't worry, I'm thinking. Back to Black by AC/DC.
Okay, yeah. Good choice. I was thinking Amy Winehouse then when you said Back to Black, but
no.
Okay, you're going for the heavier style. I like that. If you could be any character from a TV show, who would it be and why?
Walter White.
Bloody hell, it didn't take long for you to think of that one, did it?
No, because he's an absolute badass, and I absolutely love him.
Right, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know who that is. Who the hell is Walter White?
Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay. The main character?
Yes, the main character,
Yeah,
yes.
I like it. Okay. So, if you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh, pork dripped in applesauce.
Mate, I love pork.
Yeah.
I could never be Muslim.
It is slept on.
Pork.
It is slept on, I think, pork is,
man.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I love a good pork steak. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yes, mate.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I like that. And I can agree with that one. Tell me the best. Now, this one, when I got asked this on a previous podcast many years ago, I could tell you 3 or 4 things that I'm not good at. But tell me 3 things that you're good at, Gaz.
Okay, so gaming with one hand.
That's a skill in itself.
Yeah. 3 things that I am good at. The second one is charming my way into someone's pants.
I love it, mate. When I said it's uncut, come on.
There you go. And
the
third one is that's a good question, isn't it? Hang on a second. The third one is I'm a very good problem solver.
Yeah, that's a good one, mate. I like that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strict were your parents growing up?
I would say 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, so fairly damn strict, mate, to be fair.
Yeah.
10 being the worst, like. You're on a 7.5. That's well over half, Gaz. Where the hell did the 0.5 come from, Gaz?
No, okay.
They're going to kick your ass for this.
6 out of 10, there you go.
Okay,
yeah.
we've whittled it down a bit. Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. Like that 1.5 makes all the difference, but, never mind. Who was your favourite teacher in school, Gaz, and why?
Mrs. Marnie, Horton School. I was a very young kid, but she has stuck in my head because she helped me through my disability and the fact that I was in age. I was a bit backward, and she got me back to where I should be.
Love that, mate.
Yeah.
I love people that make such an impact in someone's life that you're now, at the age you are, and you still remember her. So
yeah, I do.
If she's alive, wouldn't it be nice to just bump into her?
I really hope she is, because she was wonderful.
See, like I would really love to meet. I used to have a French teacher in secondary school called Mr. Cottrell. He used to look like as a kid, did you ever watch Eurotrash?
Yes.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
do you remember Pierre from Eurotrash? He looked like Pierre from Eurotrash with an oversized suit. And I can remember being in, and this always sticks in my mind, like I can remember being in assembly, and we were in like year 11 the last year, and I was a bit of a twat at school, like, you know. And I can remember being in school in secondary, and they called my name up for some sort of shite award that I'd won, sitting still for 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And I came to the front, and he put his hand out to shake my hand, and I can remember him grabbing my hand, gripping it really tight, and saying under his breath in front of everyone, although no one heard it but me, "You're going nowhere in life, lad." Honestly, guys, I remember that at the tender age of however old I am now, 37, yeah. Yeah, he gripped my hand really tight and said, "You're going nowhere in life, lad." I would love to meet that guy now. He is still alive because he taught my sister, and I remember going, my sister had a parents' evening, and I was like, "Please let me come with you. Please let me come with you." Just so I could sit in front of him and go, "Oh boy, you were wrong." Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because, without blowing smoke up my ass, I'm a mental health advocate now. I've helped endless amount of people behind the scenes, and as well as the music and all that, I just think up yours because you're still
Definitely.
wearing that oversized suit, doing the same job that you were always doing, getting
Yep.
shit off kids.
Yeah.
But that one comment you made to me still sticks in my head now, and I would love to sit in front of him and go, you know, I'm a foster carer now, I was a teaching assistant, like basically up yours is what I would love to do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's funny how certain things stick in your head. What was your favourite toy as a child?
Ooh. My favourite toy as a child. How old are you saying as a child, as in a toddler, or
Can be anything, mate.
could be anything? My very first gaming console was a Commodore 64.
God, you're going way back there. You're showing your age there, Gaz.
Don't.
Do you know what? I had the podcast with Callum Doyney from The Voice, and we were talking about retro consoles. This will make you laugh. It makes loads of people laugh. We were talking about retro consoles, and I just kind of thought Callum was like my age, and he was like, bro, I had a proper retro console growing up, and I was like, tell me which one. And he went, PlayStation 1, mate. And I'm like, PlayStation 1 ain't fucking retro. I can remember rewinding tapes on the bloody Commodore 64. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that just kind of brought it home that actually he was like half my age.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can someone say a retro console's a PlayStation 1?
How dare they?
How dare they
Absolutely.
do that? You know what I mean? Crazy, mate. Name me 2 celebrities that really annoy you.
I love this question so much. James Corden.
Yeah, he's a pain in the arse.
He's an absolute pain in the ass. And Piers Morgan.
I am Team Piers Morgan, I'm afraid.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So, which of your friends are you most proud of, and why? These are good questions, aren't they, guys? Do you like these?
Fantastic questions.
They are good questions, aren't they? I like to have a bit of light-hearted at the end.
You're putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, I know, mate.
You really, really are.
I know, you could mention someone now and they could go, fucking hell, Gaz.
Listen, there are a lot of friends that
he's grouping them all up. Listen to him.
Listen, my closest friend, Sarah.
Why are you proud of Sarah?
Because she's gone through a lot, and she's come through it, and she's fought herself to a place now where she is extremely happy, and I'm so proud of her.
Come on, Sarah. Well done. Honestly, that's amazing. Amazing. What are your 3 favourite movies of all time, Gaz? Please tell me Dumb and Dumber is one of them. It's not, is it? Get out of here.
No.
That door's there. Get out. Take that mankini and fuck off.
Okay, you ready? Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good film. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I go for another Quentin Tarantino film? No. Well, actually, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, classic.
And Goodfellas.
Yeah, okay. I like that, mate. That's good. Samuel L. Jackson was on top form in Pulp Fiction when he...
Was he ever?
Oh my God, yeah. I remember I used to rent that from the on VHS from Bryant's video shop on the parade. It's not there no more, but yeah. That's a good one, mate. I like that.
Okay.
Mine is Ace Ventura.
Good film.
Pet Detective. I don't know about 1 or 2. Maybe we'll go with 2. I quite like 2 more than 1. Home Alone. And just because, and Dumb and Dumber, and them 3 films, like, I really piss my wife off when they come on TV. I know them word for word.
No,
She's just like, will you shut up?
But the thing is, though, Jim Carrey was not a one-trick pony either. No. He did some serious stuff. The Truman Show, my God, what a film that is.
Liar Liar as well.
Liar, yeah.
He was amazing, that chap was.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That was like the highlight of my youth, getting videos and watching them, and then rewinding them and watching them again. I used to love Cool Runnings as well.
Cool Runnings is a great film.
Do you know what I mean?
How could you not like that film? It's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of iconic ones. How would you describe me, as in me, to your friends?
He is a lovable rogue. He's a wanker, but he's my wanker. There you go.
Fucking hell. He's a wanker, but he's my wanker.
No, I tell you what, right? Never judge a book by its cover. He's a proper decent bloke, and he will do anything for you. Definitely.
Fucking hell, mate. I need to open them double doors to get my head out now. My head's massive. It's like fucking Humpty Dumpty, mate. He's scratching it like that. You've really blown smoke up my arse there, mate. Thank you for that. I've just lost my train of thought now because I'm
always here to impress. I'm
so
really good at charming people. You know that by now.
Yeah, not just a pretty boy looks, mate. I'm just in awe now, mate. So you've got me in the palm of your hands. I've completely lost trail of my questions. Let's carry on. Let's have a look. Describe your first friends. What would you do if you was invisible for one day? No, please. I know it's uncut, but please be careful that there's other women listening.
No.
Oh, it's nice to have a laugh.
Oh, if I was invisible for a day, okay. That's a good question. That I'm gonna have to be PG about this, aren't I?
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, I would. What? Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Okay then. So I would like to be. Now I'm a football fan.
Team do you support, Gaz?
Manchester United.
Out. I'm a Blue Nose.
Yes, Birmingham City.
I'm a Birmingham City Blue Nose, me, through and through, mate. However, my wife and kids are all Manchester United fans. We've been to the stadium, we've done the tours, everything. I cannot get for love of money my kids to like Birmingham City.
Wayne Rooney was he a manager?
He was our manager, and he completely fucked us up, mate. And we are top of League One now.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're playing at a park in Telford, close to you.
I would love to be in the changing room during a half-time or a full-time battering with the manager.
I thought you were going to say you'd love to be in a changing room for women's netball team. But you kept that very PG, mate. Well done for that.
Thank you.
Right then, what is the most embarrassing childhood memory that you have?
Oh,
let
God.
It go, guys. Let it go.
Oh, right. When I was in Germany, we lived in a place called Minden, and someone dared me to eat
dog shit,
a handful of sand.
Okay, that must have been absolutely disgusting, but it's not the worst thing you could have ever.
Well, there was shit. There was shit in it. I can't be honest. And being sick afterwards. But is it just a child, or do you want me to go through into my teens as well? Because there's a lot of really, really embarrassing stories when I was a teen.
Do one as a child, one in your teen. So you've done the mouthful of sand. Let's go with the teen.
I got absolutely wasted at a house party, and I was dating this girl at the time. Wasted. I was on the floor. I was crawling, and the girl that I was seeing at the time, it was her house. I said, just go and sleep. Just go and sleep in my parents' bed, and then you'll wake up better. I dreamt that I was going to the toilet.
That dream.
And I pissed their parents' bed.
Nice.
Which was brand new. Did
you blame the cat?
I blamed everything but myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I blamed her dog, the cats, someone else, her.
Did she believe it?
No, she dumped me straight after. So
yeah, it's the last time you seen her.
Yeah.
Maybe she's on a podcast now.
Yeah, no,
talking about you. This one time in Bandcamp.
The worst thing is, now bearing in mind that I'm around 5'10", 5'11", she was probably 4'9".
Oh God!
And I had to go home in a taxi in one of the tracksuit bottoms, which did not fit me in the slightest.
Just looked like they'd been sprayed
no other way.
on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What is one choice that you really regret? Coming on this fucking podcast.
One choice that I truly regret.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. That is, that is a really, 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 really good question. I've not no, not going to university.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the funniest person that you know?
Me. No.
Cocky
The funniest person I know, is someone at work called Sean. Cracks me up every flipping time.
Sean, you funny fucker. If you could pick a new first name for yourself, what would it be?
Max Power.
All right, okay. Yeah.
I got it from the back of the hairdryer. Nah, it's
it used to be that magazine that I used to listen to, from the back of an hairdryer.
No, I would. No, but in all seriousness, I've always loved like really peculiar names, like like Earth names. Do you know what I mean? Like River, but that wouldn't work with Underhill, would it?
No, not really.
River Underhill, no, it would never work.
No,
never work.
River under the hill.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. That I mean, we've already spoke about Buddy, and I'll be Buddy now, for God's sake. So,
who is the kindest person that you know, Gaz?
The kindest person that I know. There are a lot of them. However, I'm gonna go with a family member. My auntie Helen. I love her to bits, and if I need anything, she'll be there for me straight away. So,
amazing. If you could be great at one sport, what would it be?
Football.
Yeah.
Football, without question, football.
Yeah. Would you rather spend 5 days exploring Disney or 5 days exploring New York City?
5 days exploring New York City.
Not a Disney head, no?
Nope.
Oh, we're all Disney heads in this house, mate.
I listen. Disney have made a lot of great films, and one of my favorite films of all time is Wall-E.
Is what?
Wall-E.
Yes.
The robot.
You never fucking mentioned that.
I know.
There's a question about favourite films. You never mentioned Wall-E.
That's one of my favourite. Well, that is in my top 5. But
that is a class film.
It is absolutely fantastic films, but I would rather explore New York City.
Okay, cool. If you could shop for free at one store, which would it be and why? For shopping for free at one store.
Does it have to be? Can it be an internet thing?
Yeah,
as well?
mate. Anything.
That's a good question. Fred Perry store.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Love Fred Perry.
Yeah, I love Fred Perry, but unfortunately I've got man boobs now, so the top collar of the Fred Perry just makes me look like I've got big fat man boobs. I probably have got big fat man boobs, so that's why I go for the hoodies so you can't see the tits. But yeah, okay, cool. I like that. And finally, my mate, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever received?
If you want to, it's so simple. I'm telling you right now. If you want to play football, you need to walk.
Because you said that had a massive impact on you, didn't it?
Huge impact, and that
was your nan, right?
My nan, who unfortunately has passed away.
Bless
but
her.
I love her to bits. But yeah, my nan was straight talking.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, if you want to do that, you need to walk.
Yeah.
And yes, it might sound very simple, but if you think about it at a larger point of view, never give up.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
These grandparents are worth their weight in gold, mate. Like, yeah, I'm jealous of anyone that's still got their grandparents because I don't have any of mine now and I miss them dearly. Like, my granddad was a massive impact on my life and shaped me as a person as well, to be fair, because I didn't have my dad around. He kind of did all the stuff that a dad should do. My mom obviously was a single parent growing up, but yeah, I took a lot of influence from my granddad. Yeah. So, yeah, grandparents are definitely worth their weight in gold.
Exactly.
Well, mate, we have come to the end of the show. Hang on. I've got one cheeky one left here.
Go on.
It says, and lastly, right, what is your most favourite smell in the whole wide world? And don't say your own fart. I mean, everyone loves their home brand, but no, don't say your own fart. Pork.
I love pork. I do love a good old pork.
He loves a good pork, you know, Gaz does.
Freshly cooked grass.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very natural smell, isn't it? It's fantastic, and that's when you know it. That's when you know it's the spring and summer.
When's your birthday?
September 16th.
September. Oh, right, yeah. It's far way off, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to get you a Yankee Candle of freshly cooked grass, mate.
or I love freshly washed cotton or it's beautiful smell.
Yeah, it is. It is. We have come to the end of the podcast, mate. Personally, firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you for joining me today, Gaz.
No problem. It's been a pleasure.
Have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I know there was some mixed emotions, but you've never been on a podcast.
No,
Like
it's the first
podcasts,
time.
they come easy with me,
First
but
time.
I do appreciate that each guest, you're not the only one to come here and go, oh, it's a bit out of my depth, like, you know what I mean? I have a lot of people that say, send me the questions first, and I'm like, I sound like such a twat, but I'm like, no, because you overthink that then.
You do, yeah. But no, it's I was quite nervous, but I'm glad I did it now, and I feel a lot comfortable now. So yeah.
Oh, that's it then, right? So if you want to hire Gaz out for podcasts, he's available at any given time. Just give him a bit of fresh cut grass.
Please do, yes.
And he's
absolutely.
sorted. Not grass as in the smoking type, but
fresh cotton as well. Don't forget.
Don't forget fresh cotton
Don't
as
forget
well.
fresh cotton.
Thank you so much, mate, for joining me on the Dribbz Talks podcast, and big up to everyone that supports the channel. All the usual stuff. Give it a like, give it a share, give it a comment. You may not think that clicking that like button goes a long way, but for the algorithms, because we're on this social media platform, we're all trying to chase these bloody algorithms, and giving it a like or a share really does go a long way. So thank you so much to everyone that's kept with us for this podcast, and tune in for the next one.
See you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Just take one step at a time. That's what the leaflets say.